What if I told you that within you, right now, lies the seed of a transformation so profound, it could alter the very fabric of your existence? A transformation that has been whispered about in ancient temples, etched in cryptic texts, and sought after by mystics, sages, and philosophers for centuries? This isn't some abstract idea. It's a process, an art, an alchemical secret that has the power to turn lead into gold, not literally, but spiritually. Welcome to the first steps in alchemical transformation. In the realm of alchemy, the physical and the metaphysical converge. This isn't just about turning substances into gold, it's about transmuting the soul, transfiguring the base, flawed aspects of yourself into something divine. The alchemical journey, in its deepest sense, is the path of self-realization, a journey of purification, illumination, and divine union. But before you can unlock this age-old mystery, you must first step through the veil of the unknown. Alchemy, like the philosopher's stone, holds its secrets tightly. It requires dedication, patience, and a willingness to see beyond the illusion of the material world. In this video, we'll begin to uncover the first steps, the crucial foundations, of your own alchemical transformation. We'll explore the ancient wisdom behind alchemy's roots, its historical significance, and the philosophy that guides it. You'll learn how to recognize the symbols, rituals, and mental shifts that can begin your transformation, and how these ancient practices are more relevant today than ever before. Prepare to journey with me into the mysterious depths of alchemy, where hidden truths wait for those ready to awaken the latent power within. Now, are you ready to begin? To turn the base metals of your life into the golden essence of your highest self? Let's take the first step into the ancient world of alchemical transformation. Alchemy, as an ancient practice, transcends time and culture. It has woven its way through the histories of Egypt, Greece, China, India, and beyond. Yet, it is in the heart of Western mysticism that it has often been most prominently discussed, hidden in the shadow of the Hermetic tradition, which promises that, as above, so below, and that what is within is reflected in the outer world. This sacred philosophy encapsulates the idea that the microcosm of the self mirrors the macrocosm of the universe, and thus, transformation in one leads to transformation in the other. The origins of alchemy are lost to time, but the earliest known alchemical texts can be traced back to ancient Egypt, where it was practiced by the priests of Isis. It was here, in the darkness of their sacred temples, that the first alchemists sought to understand the mysteries of life, death, and rebirth. The famous legend of Hermes Trismegistus, a mythical figure often associated with the Egyptian god Thoth, holds that he was the master of alchemy, imparting divine knowledge that would influence generations of sages, from the Greeks to the Arabs, and eventually to the medieval alchemists of Europe. In the early Middle Ages, alchemy became entwined with the study of natural philosophy. Alchemists believed that the world was made up of four essential elements: earth, air, fire, and water, each possessing a unique spiritual and energetic quality. The transmutation of base metals into gold, they believed, was not simply a physical process, but a metaphysical one. Gold, being the most perfect of all metals, symbolized the purest form of divine energy, the culmination of human spiritual evolution. But why has this knowledge been veiled in mystery? Why, for centuries, was it hidden within obscure texts and guarded by secretive societies? The answer lies in the very nature of alchemy itself. The process of spiritual transformation, like the alchemical work, is not for the faint of heart. It demands courage, persistence, and a willingness to confront the deepest, most uncomfortable aspects of the self. It is a sacred art, one that transforms not just the material, but the soul. This secrecy is rooted in necessity. For the alchemical path is not about external symbols or mere formulas, it's about the inner journey. The true philosopher's stone is not a substance found in nature, it is a state of being, a realization of the divinity within. For centuries, alchemical texts were cryptic, layered in metaphor, because the wisdom they contained was too potent for the unprepared mind. Only those who had embarked upon the path, those who had cultivated wisdom and discernment, were ready to uncover the deeper truths. Alchemy has been misunderstood as nothing more than the pursuit of material wealth, the search for the elixir of life or the philosopher's stone. But at its core, alchemy is about the inner transformation that leads to spiritual enlightenment. It's about transmuting the lead of our ordinary, unrefined thoughts, emotions, and behaviors into the gold of wisdom, virtue, and divine connection. In the centuries since its mystical origins, alchemy has left traces across civilizations. It has influenced major thinkers like Paracelsus, Nicholas Flamel, and even Sir Isaac Newton. While many have sought to uncover the physical secrets of alchemy, the true alchemists have always known that the greatest transformation lies within the seeker. They have left behind a treasure trove of knowledge, but only for those brave enough to seek it. The time has come to understand why alchemy holds such deep significance. What did the ancient masters know that we have forgotten? Why has this sacred knowledge survived, hidden from the public eye, until now? And how can we, in the modern age, apply its principles to our own lives? These questions form the foundation of our journey today. We are about to embark on an exploration of the first steps in alchemical transformation, where the ancient truths will begin to awaken within us once more. The first step in alchemical transformation is deceptively simple, yet infinitely profound. It is the Nigredo, or the blackening, known in alchemical language as the beginning of the work. This is the moment of disintegration, of confronting the shadow, of dissolving the false identities we've constructed. It is here that the true journey begins, not in light, but in darkness. Like the seed that must be buried in the soil before it can sprout, so too must the self undergo a symbolic death before it can be reborn. This stage is not comfortable. It is not beautiful. It is the unraveling of illusion. You are forced to look at the leaden parts of yourself, your attachments, your fears, your suppressed desires, your pain. The Nigredo is a necessary descent into chaos, where the ego dissolves and the soul is stripped bare. But within this sacred darkness lies immense power. For only when the false self is dissolved can the true essence begin to emerge. In ancient texts, this stage was described in veiled language: solviti coagula, dissolve and recombine. It's the sacred formula of transformation. First, dissolve the structures, the habits, the beliefs that no longer serve you. This might appear in your life as a crisis, a breakdown, a loss, or it might arise in silence, as a growing sense of dissatisfaction, a call from the soul that you can no longer ignore. These are the signs that the Nigredo has begun. And though they may appear as misfortune, they are in truth divine invitations. Imagine a blackened crucible, the container where the alchemist begins the work. Your life becomes this vessel. The fire is turned up. What is impure will burn. What is essential will remain. This stage may last days, weeks, or even years, depending on the soul's readiness. It is not about rushing through the fire, but about learning to withstand it, learning to observe your suffering without fleeing, to hold your pain with reverence, to allow the old parts of you to fall away. The Nigredo is deeply personal, but it is also universal. Every mystic, every sage, every hero in the great myths and sacred stories has undergone it. Think of Christ in the desert, Buddha under the Bodhi tree, Inanna's descent into the underworld. These are archetypes of the blackening, echoes of the first step in transformation. But alchemy does not leave us in the dark. After the Nigredo comes the Albedo, the whitening, the cleansing, the clarification. But we are not there yet. First, you must understand the nature of inner fire. Not the fire that destroys, but the fire that purifies. You are the metal in the flame, and what emerges from this sacred burning is not the same as what entered. One of the most misunderstood aspects of alchemy is the idea that the transformation happens outside of you. That if you mix the right herbs, chant the right words, or possess the right talisman, you will ascend. But true alchemy teaches that the work must begin within. The laboratory is your body. The elements are your emotions, your thoughts, your will. The lead is your unrefined self, and the gold is your awakened soul. Do not be discouraged if the path feels unclear. In alchemy, the obscurity is intentional. Symbols, riddles, metaphors, they are the guardians of the sacred. The path is not laid out plainly, for it is meant to be earned. This is the great paradox of the work. Only in surrendering to the unknown do we begin to see. And so, the first step is not to chase light, but to embrace the shadow. To honor your inner crucible. To ask, what within me must be burned away? What am I still clinging to that no longer serves my highest evolution? Sit with these questions. Let them echo through your being. For only by honoring the Nigredo can we prepare for what comes next, the revelation of light, the inner widening, and the sacred alchemy of the soul. Once the soul has passed through the Nigredo, and the fires of dissolution have scorched away the false layers of identity, a sacred stillness begins to emerge. This is the albedo, the white phase. It is not yet the end of the work, but a critical threshold. In this stage, the seeker begins to perceive clarity, purity, and renewal. The chaos has quieted. The ashes of what was are now the fertile ground of what may become. The albedo represents purification, of thought, emotion, and spirit. In alchemical terms, it is the washing of the inner matter, a kind of soul baptism. If Nigredo is death, then albedo is resurrection. But this is not a return to your former self, it is the quiet birth of a new one. A self that sees with greater vision, feels with deeper compassion, and yearns for truth rather than illusion. Many alchemists describe this phase as the union of opposites, the sacred marriage of the lunar and solar aspects of the psyche. The moon, symbolizing intuition, inner knowledge, and receptivity, begins to harmonize with the sun, representing action, awareness, and will. This union births a new consciousness, one that is balanced, whole, and luminous. In the language of symbols, this is the moment when the raven of Nigredo is replaced by the white dove. It is the moment when the waters are no longer murky but become clear, reflecting the divine light that was always present, hidden beneath the surface. The seeker in this stage begins to experience spiritual insight, sudden clarity, and at times, mystical vision. It is a fragile, precious state, not to be clung to, but to be honored. However, it is here that many become confused. They believe the work is done. They feel peace, and assume this is the pinnacle. But alchemy warns us, the albedo is but a midpoint. It is the dawn, not the noon sun. And while clarity is a blessing, it is also a responsibility. This is where the true paradoxes of alchemy begin to emerge. For even in light, the shadow may return. Even in clarity, temptation lurks. The ego, clever and subtle, may try to co-opt the work for its own ends. This is why the ancient texts speak of vigilance. The alchemist must remain humble, must not mistake reflection for illumination, nor the symbol for the truth. In this phase, the seeker is tasked with integration, to not simply experience insight, but to embody it. To allow the inner purity to transform the outer life. And so, the albedo calls for discipline, devotion, and a deepening of inner practice. It is not enough to know, one must become. One of the great symbols of the albedo is the lily, which grows from the depths of decay, rising through the murky water to bloom in untouched white. This is the soul, having passed through pain and purgation, now awakening to its divine nature. But even this is not the end. There remains the final stage, the rubedo, or reddening, the union with the divine, the creation of the philosopher's stone, the completion of the great work. But that final ascent cannot come without mastering the path of descent. This is why so many seekers falter. They reach the albedo and long for the glory of the end. But alchemy teaches patience. It teaches reverence for each phase of the journey. Just as the moon must wax slowly to fullness, so too must the soul grow into its golden form. At this stage, myths again speak to us. The phoenix, after burning in its own flame, is not reborn in a single moment. It emerges from ash, fragile and trembling, before it can rise. In the albedo, you are the phoenix just reborn. The air is new. The vision is raw. The possibilities are endless, but the flight is yet to come. And so, dear seeker, do not rush. Let the widening unfold. Cleanse your thoughts. Purify your intentions. Reflect on the truths revealed in your Nigredo. For in doing so, you prepare the ground for the sacred reddening, the final transmutation, the divine fire that does not consume but completes. This is the journey of the soul through the alchemical stages. But how, you might ask, can these esoteric truths be lived in the modern world? How can one begin the sacred work in daily life? That is where we now turn, to the practical application of this ancient art. The teachings of alchemy are not meant to remain confined to dusty books and ancient manuscripts. They are meant to be lived, to be embodied in every moment of our daily lives. While the stages of alchemical transformation may seem arcane, they hold profound relevance in our modern world. The key is to begin applying these principles practically, taking the sacred wisdom of the alchemists and bringing it into your own existence. Let us start with the first and perhaps most important step, the Nigredo, the phase of dissolution and inner death. In the busy world we inhabit, it's easy to get caught up in surface-level distractions, to overlook the need for deep introspection. But true transformation begins with the willingness to face the darkness within, your fears, your emotional wounds, your attachments to things that no longer serve you. A practical exercise for this phase is simple, but not easy: self-reflection through journaling. Take time each day to write honestly about what weighs on your soul. What are the hidden fears or insecurities that keep you from living fully? What are the attachments in your life, relationships, habits, material possessions, that bind you to the past or to false identities? Acknowledge them, without judgment. This is the first step of alchemical transformation, the willingness to confront the shadow. In addition to journaling, you may find it helpful to engage in a meditation on letting go. This can be done by simply closing your eyes, visualizing the things you need to release, and imagining them dissolving, like sand being washed away by the ocean. Visualize yourself growing lighter, more free with each passing breath. In this act, you are symbolically experiencing the Nigredo, the process of dissolving the base elements of your ego. Another practice is shadow work, a term often used in modern psychology that has roots in alchemical thought. Shadow work involves identifying and integrating the hidden aspects of the self, those traits, memories, or desires that we typically repress or deny. The more you bring these into the light, the more you begin to purify the inner self. Use techniques such as affirmations to rewrite negative self-beliefs, or guided visualizations to interact with your own shadow and learn its lessons. Once you have begun to face the darkness, the next step in the alchemical process is the albedo, the purification, the whitening. This is the phase where clarity begins to emerge, where the dust of the Nigredo settles, and you start to see the light that was hidden beneath the surface. How can you apply this to your life? Begin with inner purification practices. One way is through mindfulness and conscious breathing. Throughout your day, take short moments to pause, breathe deeply, and center yourself in the present. When you bring your awareness to the breath, you are training yourself to purify your thoughts, to free your mind from distractions and emotional clutter. You can also apply the idea of purification by clearing your external environment. Alchemists believe that the environment directly influences the state of the mind and soul. Declutter your physical space. Create a sanctuary where you can meditate, journal, or simply sit in stillness. A clean, orderly space reflects an organized and purified inner world. In this phase, you may also begin to experience moments of spiritual insight or clarity. When these moments arise, nurture them. Practice gratitude for the revelations you receive, no matter how small they seem. Keep a sacred journal to document these moments of insight, for they are part of your alchemical work. The wisdom you gain in the albedo will continue to evolve as you practice, leading to deeper understanding and greater clarity in every area of your life. But remember, as we've discussed, the albedo is not the end. There is more to come. The final stage of alchemy, the rubedo, is the stage of integration and spiritual union. This is when the work is truly completed, when the purified self is ready to shine in its full glory. One of the most powerful ways to begin preparing for the rubedo in your life is to practice compassionate action. The rubedo is often symbolized by the phoenix, rising from the ashes of its former self. This is your opportunity to embody the higher, purified self that you have become. Start by acting with love and compassion toward others. Each selfless act, each gesture of kindness, is an expression of the alchemical gold you have created within yourself. Engage in service. Whether this means volunteering your time, helping a friend in need, or simply offering a listening ear, service is the highest expression of the alchemical work. It is the moment when you can apply all of your newfound wisdom and inner purity to the outer world, bringing healing and transformation to others. Finally, to truly embody the Rubedo, begin to cultivate spiritual practices that connect you to the divine. Prayer, meditation, or rituals that resonate with your soul will allow you to maintain your connection to the highest aspects of your being. In these sacred practices, you are aligning yourself with the divine forces that drive the alchemical work, the same forces that exist in the cosmos, the elements, and within the deepest recesses of your own soul. In essence, the Rubedo is the flowering of the soul. You are no longer just a seeker, you are the embodiment of the great work itself. Your life becomes a reflection of the divine alchemy, one that serves not only your highest good but the good of all beings. And so, the alchemical process continues. Transformation is not a destination but a path. By practicing these steps, by applying the Nigredo, the Albedo, and eventually the Rubedo to your life, you begin to awaken to the true nature of your soul. The work is eternal, but every step you take brings you closer to the gold that lies hidden within you. As you move forward, be gentle with yourself. The alchemical journey is slow and deliberate, a process that unfolds over time. And just as the alchemists guarded their secrets carefully, so too must you guard the sacredness of your inner transformation. Let your life become the laboratory, your thoughts the ingredients, and your soul the philosopher's stone. With these practical steps, you are ready to begin. The ancient alchemists await you, their wisdom echoing through the ages. The time has come to embark on your own alchemical transformation. As we draw near the end of this journey through the first steps of alchemical transformation, let us pause for a moment and reflect. The path we've explored is not one of quick fixes or superficial changes. It is a deep, profound process, one that demands patience, dedication, and reverence for the sacred work unfolding within. We began in the darkness of the Nigredo, where the alchemical crucible of the soul begins its work of dissolution. Here, the old structures, identities, and illusions crumble, allowing space for the true self to emerge. In the Albedo, we experience the purification, the whitening, where the soul begins to shine with clarity and wisdom. And now, we stand on the threshold of the Rubedo, the final stage, where the sacred gold of transformation is fully realized. But this journey is far from linear. It is cyclical. Just as the alchemist refines the metal over and over again, so too will the seeker face the same stages in new and ever-deepening ways. The Nigredo, Albedo, and Rubedo are not just steps on a ladder to be climbed, they are rhythms of transformation that play out over and over in different seasons of life. The work is not meant to be rushed. It is a lifelong pursuit, one that beckons you to dive deeper into the mysteries of your own soul, to embrace the sacred fire that burns within you, and to trust the process of purification. You will face challenges. You will experience moments of darkness. But always remember that the darkness is where the gold is forged. You will also experience moments of profound clarity, where the light seems to illuminate every corner of your being. But even in these moments, humility is key. The journey is never complete, it is the eternal becoming. And so, the question now remains, are you ready to embark on this sacred path? Are you ready to enter the alchemical laboratory of your own soul, to face the darkness within, and to purify yourself for the great work of transformation? The answers lie within you. The journey is yours to walk. Remember that the alchemical process does not only live in the words spoken today. It lives in the actions you take, in the choices you make, in the quiet moments of reflection, in the sacred rituals that anchor you. Begin with small steps, embrace the shadow, purify your inner space, and act with compassion. Over time, you will witness the alchemical gold that is being created within you. So, as you close your eyes tonight, reflect on this ancient wisdom. Let it settle in your soul. Know that you are not alone on this journey. Countless seekers have walked this path before you, and their wisdom continues to guide you. As you embark on your alchemical transformation, remember, you are the alchemist. You are the philosopher's stone. And the work begins now. The journey of transformation is a sacred art, and the alchemist within you is waiting to be awakened. If this video has sparked something within you, I invite you to reflect further and share your thoughts. What part of the alchemical process resonates with you most? What step do you feel called to take in your own transformation? Share in the comments below. I'd love to hear about your journey. Until next time, may the fire of transformation light your way.